This is a dark screen video. I decided to get on while I was on my coffee break here. I decided that I ain't doing none of these apps until I got some work done. Because I find that when you get on these apps and you don't get your work done, it's like you give up a lot of energy on these apps. And then you don't have no energy to get your work done. And it sucks. So I did get a decent amount of work done. And while I'm on my break here, feel free to listen to the sounds, y'all, as I make my coffee. So here's the thing. Something I realized, y'all. A lot of people don't got faith in the scriptures like they say, y'all. If people got faith in the scriptures like they say, we would have a whole bunch of successful people. There'd be way more people successful. The problem is people turn to the scriptures only when all hell break loose or when they're at rock bottom. Scriptures are supposed to be throughout your day. Like literally, every time you eat, every time you do something, you're supposed to be looking towards the scriptures. If you just think of doing something, you're supposed to be looking towards the scriptures. Scriptures is always around us, changing, attaching to other scriptures. They're always moving, like we're moving, like the earth is moving. These scriptures are moving around us, and if you're not putting the scriptures first, then you're just going to keep running in place. You're just going to keep like dealing with the same obstacles over and over and over again. Okay? Now, the problem with people not following the scriptures is that people wait till somebody say something and then they say, let me look up the scripture for that. But people don't dive deep enough into their scriptures. They just go with the first little message with it and they don't dive deep. If you ever dive deep into your scriptures, you will see that the scriptures start actually speaking of your destiny. Each number starts to speak of your destiny. You just got to dive deeper into the scriptures. Okay? So, very first thing, y'all. You know, if you're going to sit up there and be like, I'm going to achieve goals, going after goals to be done with by the end of March. If you're not into scriptures, then it's going to be hard for you to keep up with it. All right, because there's all different ways for the world to put fear in you. And scriptures is your way through. They're your way of letting you know that whether the fear you have is unnecessary or the obstacle that you think is there is not really there. Scriptures is a way to get you through when you think nothing else is going to get you through. When you're ready to give up, your scriptures will actually tell you whether you should actually give up. Okay? The scriptures actually give you confirmation if you are aligned with your true metaphysical self. They're also telling you that. Okay? This is why you have to get in touch with your scriptures. Now, because we have toxic deviation out here, people abusing deviation, people are monitoring other people's scriptures. And you don't have to worry about that, because here's the thing. The energy, the amount of energy that you have matches your scriptures. And anyone monitoring your scriptures to be you, they don't have the health for it. So they ended up paying for it anyway. So don't worry about the people that can watch your scriptures. What you have to do is make sure you don't have people distracting you from your scriptures. Okay? That's what you have to watch out for. That is one of the main purposes that narcissistic people and abusive people are here for. They're here to distract you from your scriptures. They're here to manipulate and play around with your scriptures. They're dark celestial beings manipulating your scriptures. Okay, moving numbers around and all type of stuff. Their energy is doing that to your energy, and then manipulating the scriptures that way. Why do you think right when you're about to have a breakthrough, all of a sudden these people get more toxic, you know, or people start pulling their energy back from you that never do? They think that's going to push you into a different energy, and then your scripture is going to change. Okay? This is why some people, they say, I don't want my scriptures being messed around with, so I'm going to go in the mountains by myself and just to be around monks and priests, so I know that my scriptures are not going to be manipulated. Okay? We're living in a world where people are selfish for attention. They think that a lot of people think that their problems matter more than yours, or the way they're feeling matters more than yours, your life. They think their feelings matter more, so they're not caring that however they're acting is manipulating your scriptures. They don't care. They're not thinking that they may have caused a delay in your scriptures. They're just thinking about their ego and how they feel. So this is why, until the work is done, okay, I always say until the work is done, the world exists in your mind. Okay, this means, go somewhere where you can remember the world. You can think about what you've gone through, but you're not actually still in the throes of it. You're not actually so involved in the world at the moment, because, as I said, people can kind of sense what your feelings are leading to versus theirs. And if they're jealous, okay, then they're going to change up and then not manipulate your scriptures. So this is why successful people like to wake up 2-3 hours before their family. They like to, that's what the monks do. They know if they're up at 4 a.m., half the world's not up at 4 a.m. They know this. If that's what you got to do to stay on the path, so scriptures that you don't want don't pop up, then that's what you have to do. Okay? Sometimes when your sleep pattern is being changed somehow, you can't explain it. The Creator is changing it to protect you from something that is manipulating your scriptures. I know we like to think insomnia, negative of insomnia, but sometimes insomnia is actually protection, y'all. Sometimes it's to get you on a different sleep cycle off someone else's woke cycle, so y'all are not on the same woke cycle, so you will get the work done. When you say you want to achieve your dreams, okay, then you're saying to God, I'm willing to accept whatever rolling that you give. Whatever you decide has to be done for these dreams to be achieved. So this is why I don't ask for your dreams to be achieved unless you're ready for some shocking changes in your life. Things will come down. People will suddenly be off your schedule. You'll find yourself unable to be in certain places as often anymore. Because the reality is being edited and cleaned up by the Creator, so that it is the most abundant reality for you achieving your dreams. So it has to have some things that you think is good. It's not great enough for your dreams. There's a quote I saw this morning that says, sometimes you got to sacrifice the good for the great. Sometimes you got to sacrifice what you think is great but really good. And that's deep, y'all. Okay? Some of the friendships y'all think is great, it's not. I mean, are they destined for your dreams? Are they participating? No, if they're not, then it's good. It's a good friendship, but it's not a great friendship. Hi, everybody. Okay, all right. So I got about, I think, 2 more minutes. We're gonna do this for 2 more minutes. This coffee. I noticed when I've been making my coffee, I don't know if I'm not looking at the time, but we're gonna get 2 more minutes for this. Um, you notice I'm not on screen. When you got big work to do, it's better that you're not you can be heard but not seen. Y'all, I'm dead serious, y'all. When it's like top of the ninth, like in baseball, it's like I'm here but I'm not here. I learned that when you're there but not there, the people that are still fated for your destiny, they'll still be pulled towards you. You don't have to be physically present. Just think about a lot of people who never did public appearances, never did interviews, nothing. And they got best-selling books bringing in millions. So I know these apps make us think you have to be seen. But actually, most of the people that is there when you're seen, they're not fated for your destiny. Okay? I can support somebody over the phone. I don't need to see you. I can support you financially through Cash App without seeing you. Start setting your boundaries up when you know it's the top of the ninth. Okay? Um, there's people who've already checked your scriptures. They've been following you. Their jealousy makes them wait to see you and try to find any weakness or what they think is a weakness and try to attack you so they can corrupt your scriptures. So sometimes you do have to be a little bit more aggressive with your boundaries if you want to finish the work, y'all. Now, here's what I found out also recently is when you're trying to get some big work done, you should actually be talking, unless it's actually connected to your work, the work you're actually doing. You should be talking a lot less than doing the work. So let's say you've been writing your book for an hour. You can't be talking for 2 hours. You can't talk 2 hours in that same 24-hour period because the throat chakra is still the Empress energy, and it's a very critical chakra for achieving your dreams, for manifesting the resources, and for creative energy. Also wisdom. So you need to keep track of how long you're running your mouth through the day. It's funny because I don't hear anyone say, well, I timed my talking today and I've been talking for 2 hours. Nobody does that, but can you imagine if people actually did that? They would kind of see that they're talking more than actually getting some work actually done. I mean, just think about it, There's people who pretend like they're quiet around you, but they're running their mouth on the phone, they're talking to people in the streets, they're talking to people at work, they're talking to family members, neighbors, random people. All that, y'all, is depletion of energy. This is why I try to talk now where I'm focused on what's connected to my destiny, because then I know there's no way that I blocked my destiny through wasting my throat chakra. So that's why I did this video, because I'm able to talk about scriptures, because scriptures is a key thing in my destiny. So I know that when I talk about scriptures, it is strengthening in my law of attraction for the scriptures and the scriptures that I'm currently working on, whether it's literary scriptures or biblical scriptures or spiritual non-traditional scriptures. They're all scriptures. So I know that this is sending out multiple vibrations of the word scriptures in my metaphysical space, which means I'm putting pressure on the creator to bring me my scriptures, whether it's, like I said, literary or for my books, any book I'm writing. This is also how you how you increase law of attraction. If you're talking, if you're talking is not abundant in what your actually destiny is, you cannot expect to sit down and be prolific in your destiny. Okay? For example, when Hemingway would talk, he wouldn't talk about his actual writing project. But if somebody wanted to talk about writing, he would. He would never talk about what he was doing. He wouldn't, it didn't matter if somebody asked, he would never say a word. But if somebody said, you know, what do you think about writing? You know, he would recommend you to someone or recommend you to a source or whatever. He would be around writers. He was, you know, always at his desk first thing in the morning. The point that I'm making is that goal achieving is not going to work if your first scriptures aren't triggered to be what your destiny is. This means the first 30 minutes you have to flood your metaphysical space with the scriptures that are for it. Now, some of y'all say, well, I don't know what the scriptures are for my destiny. If you know your true self that you have with respect and integrity, respect for the world, you know what you do where you're forced to have integrity and honor. If you can't help but to have that energy, it's probably, whatever you're doing, it's probably connected to your destiny. I never feel tempted to cheat and rob other writers and not give credit. I don't get tempted like that. To me, it's like evil. It feels evil. And it should feel evil because it's my destiny. I never feel tempted to give out other people's resources that they making money off of. I never feel tempted to regurgitate stuff and not give credit. I never feel tempted to mirror people and pretend like I'm not. The reason why is because I'm doing something that the devil cannot influence me in. It's impossible. My energy is too protected because it is my destiny. When you cannot have respect for people and yourself, when you're doing it, it's because it's not your destiny. When it's hard to not be happy for other people in your own field, it's not your destiny. You're allowed to give constructive criticism of other people's work in your field. But when you are jealous and competitive for no good reason, you didn't enter a contest that they entered, and you're competing, it's not your destiny. Because your destiny puts you in a sacrificial lamb type of energy. Your destiny puts you in the energy of a saint when you're doing it. So if you cannot be determined to bring peace, because that's what the part of your destiny is to maintain peace with people who are going towards what you're doing or doing what you're doing. If you are not, that's not a part of your purpose, then it's not your purpose. And I hate to break the news because some people don't agree with me. They say, well, it is my purpose. I just get jealous sometimes. No. When it's your purpose, you'll look at it as an opportunity to be a student of that person. You'll feel honored the fact that you met someone who can do it better than you. You will still see that as abundance. You know, I have deep conversations sometime in the morning hours. Hold on, y'all. Let me get this let me get this coffee made here. I decided to have a little bit of coffee. Hi, everybody. All right. You know, when you gotta fake it, you're not for world peace. Nobody faking it, imitating, harvesting other people's stuff to be fake. You're not for world peace. So don't expect the peace to come. See, the life purpose is meant to bring peace in your life. It's meant to keep you away from things that don't give you peace. That's what it's meant to do. And if you are having trouble with dealing with toxic people in your life and keeping your distance, it's because you are not doing your life purpose. If every time you do your life purpose, you feel like you want to entertain toxic people, you're not doing your life purpose. When I get done with my life purpose every day, I have no interest in talking to narcissistic family members and friends. As a matter of fact, I want to get far away from them. I feel too good. I feel too good inside to even be around them for a minute. I'm not interested in submitting to them. As a matter of fact, any power that they had over me is instantly gone. Hi, everybody. I no longer care about the views and money on this channel. You know why? Because what I realize is that your early businesses and your life purpose, they're normally for you to meet your fans and your supporters. Okay? And those are the people who will follow you through life, and they will financially support your business. So there's no reason to be counting on monetization and views. Okay? You don't know the people that's controlling that, and you don't have the last say. But when you build a team and a fan club, okay, then you can take that with you. You can leave the apps and take those people with you by email or whatever. So really, I say the first few years of any online business, if it's on any app, you should be focusing on building a team. This means that the first few years of your business, you have to be a stoic. Okay? Really, you should be a stoic for the rest of your life once you find your life purpose. I mean, what's more rich, what's more wealthier than that? You have the ultimate thing that you need, the ultimate. What can top that? Nothing. A diamond on my finger cannot top this. Nothing. I wear diamonds. I wear fancy clothes. They don't make me feel the way I feel when I'm doing this in my literature and my art. I don't feel the same. The art that I'm supposed to do. It's not deep down peace. And I think it's because our metaphysical self knows that stuff can easily be destroyed. The products can be destroyed, but what cannot be destroyed is your power within. Okay? No one can destroy your power in your metaphysical space. It can push it back. It can temporarily hide it from you. It can make you hard to connect to it, but it cannot destroy it. Nothing can destroy it. Nothing can destroy your metaphysical space but the supreme being that gave you the energy and the existence. So the point that I'm making, once you start to say that my power is my most precious thing to me, and once I master my own personal power, the elemental energy that I am most abundant in, I can use that to get through anything. Once I master that, I'll see most of this stuff around me in the world. It's not really as great as I think it is. Okay? I don't know about y'all, but I feel better, a lot better without food. I feel a lot better with just fruit. I can't exactly explain it, but that lets me know that our power doesn't require much outside stuff. We're just trained to think. We're trained to think lack about our power, and this is why. That's why we don't keep money. You know, I think the ultimate test for some people is how long can you keep your last $100. Let's say you're paying bills, okay, and you only got $100 left. How long can you keep it? You know, you have everything. Let's say you have everything, but all you got is $100 in spending money. How long can you keep it? See, that'll let you know, like, how much you're into your inner power. Because some people, they can't even keep that for months. They can't. They even when they have $1,000 in their bank account, they're like, oh, I still got money. But it's like you don't need you have everything. If you're living and breathing and sleeping and eating and stuff, and you able to see a doctor, you have everything. What you need to glamorize at this point is inner power. Because when everything else fell, you'll be able to run to that. When there ain't no people, okay, when if you're stuck in a hole, if you're stuck in a hole somewhere, you got nothing, no people, guess what's going to be there? Your inner power. Guess what's going to be there? Your scriptures. And I know a lot of people can't relate to this because it's not their destiny. Their destiny is to learn the karma for being money hungry or chasing products or thinking lack about money all the time or just always thinking about money. There's some people that's like that's their main priority. I'm not hating on those people if that's their north node, but my north and my destiny is to help those people to get less of the karmic lesson from their obsession with money and product, to help them have a break from it so they can have moments in their life where they're not getting a tough karmic lesson for spending addiction and money hungry and thinking money defines who they are. As a matter of fact, it is very toxic and dangerous for your life purpose for you to hang out with people who think money defines their value. Like, you have to literally avoid those people. Because when you do your life purpose, and it's your true life purpose, there's no way you could be thinking of, I just want to get in this amount of money and hoard this money, sitting on millions of dollars. No one who's in their life purpose that's sent by God would ever feel comfortable being filthy rich among so many people who's poor. That would not be something. This is why I'm no longer buying products by filthy rich celebrities. If I hear they're not giving back, I don't buy their stuff. Because I personally feel like, okay, they're probably not in their life purpose. They probably took someone else's scriptures. They're probably taking someone's destiny and they're faking it. Your life purpose will always have a moment in your life where you're in the desert. So when I see filthy rich celebrities, they never have desert time. Their energy is questionable. How often do you hear Beyonce being in the desert? Hardly ever. And what has happened? People said that she paid people to not tell anyone that her songs are not hers. So you see what I'm saying? How often do you hear of J-Lo being in the desert? Nope. What happened? Everybody found out that she didn't give Ashanti credit. See what I'm saying? The desert is the desert time in your life purpose is for you to have compassion, for you to know what it's like to not have it for a while, to know what it's like to be other people who don't have it, so that you can respect the energy that is going to give you your next cycle of money. But people who don't want to be in the desert are cheaters. People who never have desert time are cheating. And that's it, y'all. And that's just the truth. Hi, we have people listening in here. Dark video. How many people we got? Good. 4 people. Good. That lets me know the people who are watching me are supposed to be watching me. 4 was coming out recently. Okay. I was watching a movie, Free Guy. You know that movie, I guess, Blue Shirt Guy with Free Guy movie, where he's in the Matrix and whatever, and he wakes up because he hears a certain song and whatever, which was a script that he heard. And the girl was drinking coffee, and she said, 1 cup of coffee over 2 hours, girl. And you see how negative and toxic that waitress was? She was only thinking about getting tips and money, when she didn't even know she was sitting in the presence of a genius. She was sitting in the presence of someone that was fated to get rich. And this is why I say If you don't really have anything nice to say about someone who's doing their purpose, even if you're serving them, you're better off being quiet. Because a woman like me, I would have been like, oh, you always come here for 2, 3 hours working on your laptop, sitting with your coffee for 2 hours. What are you working on? Can I be a part of it? Can I help? See, I would have asked. I wouldn't have said something negative like that. But that's the type of people we have out here. I have people on this channel to say, life coach, life coach with only 3,000 views, yet they don't know that I changed the niche of this channel 3 times. If I had started a whole new channel with the videos I put up over the last year, it would be probably a viral channel, because each of those videos was getting, in the first week, posted at least 1,000 to 3,000 views. So in a few months, I would have already been monetized. But I didn't feel the need to move to a new channel right away because the supporters were still coming through my Cash App. Actually, I was making more money through my Cash App than I would have made off the views of those videos in the first few months, even on a new channel. See, it's all mathematical. You have to be able to, say, okay, is it smarter for me to stay here at the time? The way the money's flowing, the way the downloads are coming, the way the people are coming, is it smart enough? Okay, when you see it start to go dry and it's dry too long, then that is the creator trying to push you into a different direction. Not necessarily to stop what you're doing, but maybe just do it somewhere else. Now, because no one can see my Cash App and my PayPal, nobody knows whether it was time or not time, but I know. See what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, right when you think no one's succeeding and you want to be judgmental, you should probably be like, maybe I shouldn't, because I could be in the presence of an angel or someone that is fated for success. So, my mouth could be working against me. So this goes for people even that you're serving. I recently realized that there's somebody in my life that I swore up and down was not for my destiny. And then I got this download and this feeling that they actually are, but not in the way that I think that I thought. Okay? So what I'm doing is I'm accepting the download that I got, which tells me that I have to, this person probably made me rich in a past life, most likely, or they gave me a lot of money or something. So in this life, I have to care about their health. I have to take care of their health. I have to be their caregiver. I did not know that helping people, healing people was actually a critical part of my destiny. I just always thought it was just always, just the spiritual part. I had no idea that the mental and the physical, the strength building was something I had to do to help people heal. So I realized this person in my life, only reason why they were turning bitter and cold is because I wasn't doing my part of the destiny for them to be in their destiny energy. So it's like their destiny depends on my destiny. See? And then my destiny is more unlocked. So I have to help them with their transformation. I didn't realize that the person looking me in my face every day is in the most need for a transformation than people that I'm going towards. Once I stood back and I looked at the big picture, I saw that their attacks and their cruel ways wasn't necessarily like they're evil, but they don't know compassion. They see love as money. That's how they get through. So I have to set an example. I have to set an example with helping them to feel emotionally safe. When they feel emotionally unsafe, they attack. So I have to help them find healthy ways to harness their emotional feelings. I didn't think I was the one. But because I didn't have the family that they had and the money they had, I really didn't think I was qualified. But as I started to look back and see how easy it is for me to get through things emotionally more than them, I started to realize that, yeah, I'm qualified. So they're helping me to maintain my independence, and I'm helping them to be grounded with their emotional, spiritual, inward health. So it's kind of about package deal. But as soon as I don't do my part, they don't do their part. Okay? So, it's so funny how destinies work. If you don't do a certain thing, like for me, I have to ask for help and share the load. Okay, I have to ask for help from society, but I have to go in and help my family without them asking me. They should not have to ask me. So what I do now is I just stand around my family and I just connect with them emotionally and I ask God, like, what am I supposed to do? And then God will tell me. And then I noticed that the portal opens for me. So some of y'all may not know that your family members are critical for the portal to open for your destiny. So don't be so quick to be like cancel culture. Nobody is perfect. People are not perfect people. Running away from your family member over every little thing, no. Okay? Some of y'all may not realize that some people are not supporting you and your family because they got mental health issues. It's not that they're against it. It's that they was programmed by the matrix. So you have to have compassion, like they're not woke. They're not woke. So it's not like something just personal to me. They would be this way with anybody about my dreams. I could be somebody else and they would be in the same energy. We have to stop thinking that everything is just like personal to us individually. Sometimes someone has a program that they would use on anybody out here. Hi, everybody. The main thing for divine ones is to show compassion. Now, you're allowed to be outraged. You're allowed to have moments of being offended. When you remove people out of your life, it's because they get in the way of your life purpose. If you know you're doing your purpose and they step on your toes, okay, that's when you remove them. But petty arguments, petty fights, no. And sometimes people support your purpose in a way that you don't prefer. Well, that's just how they can do it. Recently I realized someone in my life was supporting my purpose by making sure that I had what I needed. My personal self-care. I didn't think that that's like supporting my life purpose, but like if you put it together, it actually is. Okay? If someone's going to take care of you, your self-care, then they're making it possible for you to do your life purpose. That's one thing you don't have to think of doing. So sometimes you just have to do inventory, like, is these people making it easier at least for me to do my life purpose? Let's say they don't even believe in it, but they still doing things that would make it easier. The Creator is still compelling them intuitively to do things that would make it easier, even if they don't realize they are making it easier. The point is that they are. That's enough. You don't need to hear people say, "I believe in your purpose." You could do it. If they're going to support you, then they're already saying that. Hi, everybody. Wow. Some of y'all like, woo, child. Serious. Take inventory of the benefits that you have from people. How are they making the path more clear for you? How are they giving you less struggles so you can do your purpose? Some of y'all say, well, I don't want to be a homemaker. I'm the home cleaner. I'm the home slave. Let me tell you something. A lot of people who are homemakers, who must deal with part-time, temporary jobs and stuff, them is the main people that's fated for something big. Them was the main people. If every time you go after a full-time job and it always, backfires on you, or you got to go to 100 interviews to get a 40 hours a week job, you may need to consider that your destiny requires you to do something that would be like the saints would do. You may need to go in to be a caregiver, take care of somebody, and then that opens up your metaphysical space for your life purpose, for the big money. So for me, I have to take care of um, my partner. I have to take care of the old people in my family. I was awarded major breakthroughs after my mom died, and I found out through a psychic somebody in my family think I stole the torch from them, but I didn't. They didn't realize that I earned it because I was actually doing my destiny even when I didn't know I was. When I was always taking care of my mom, I was actually right in my destiny to take care of the elderly. And I know this because every time I go after a job that's taking care of old people or sick people or dying people, I always get the job. I'm loved and I'm respected. The clients all protect me. The families of the nursing homes, they will protect me. I will meet random people that's working at nursing homes and they will say, hey, you're a nice person. Are you interested in working at the nursing home? So I know that I was in my destiny. So I was rewarded my mother's energy to give me a boost with my life purpose. I didn't take it from a family member, but that family member thinks I took it. But they didn't do their destiny, so they were blocked from the torch. You know, when our elders died, there's a fire, there's a flood of energy that comes from them. You know, like the movie Valerian, where that alien species was on our planet and she died in her energy. It's the same thing. We just can't see it, but we when you get your breakthroughs and all that, then you know, like, wait a minute, where all this energy came from. The family member in my family, they didn't realize that if they would come to me, they would know what their destiny is. See, I'm chosen to reveal destinies. That's why I'm a Libra rising. Every Libra rising sign is here for the destinies of the world. So it's like, if they would come to me and get some insight and have me do observation of them, they would probably find out what their life purpose and destiny is. But they don't. They didn't. They were looking at traditional beliefs that because they're older than me, they should know. Because they're older than me, they're automatically supposed to get the torch. But that's not the way it worked. Okay? You don't get to burst the torch from your elders when they die unless you are in your life purpose on a regular, and you're humble and you're just going with the flow with it. Okay? Because that is you actually still trying to get generational wealth for your family. Your life purpose also gives generational wealth. And when you're locked into that and you have deposited so much energy into that, the Creator considers you to be rewarded with your grandmother's energy or grandfather's energy when they die. Hi, everybody. Everyone needs to stop thinking of generational wealth as form of money. Generational wealth starts with energy. Okay? It starts with the energy. So if you put the work you need to do energetically first, the energy that would give you the generational wealth is going to come. People are trying to do it in reverse. I just get the knowledge and I do it. It's not going to attract money because you don't have the energy in alignment with it. See, I could pass out this knowledge all I want, but if my energy is not matching, okay, when y'all connect with my energy, y'all know I'm a truth teller, I'm bold, I can be fiery. That is in direct alignment with my sun and my north. I can be cutting sometime, like you're cut off because you're in my way. I can also be hidden and disappearing act sometimes on this channel and mysterious because that's my destiny. I'm in alignment. Not everyone's going to like that energy. Because do you know that not everyone benefits from your destiny? Not everyone cares. Not everyone believes in it. Strangers, you could be telling the absolute truth with your destiny that will get them through. But if they are just still, if they're believing in how they were raised, if they're just so faith in their mom and dad, then your destiny means nothing to them. Do your destiny and let the believers come. Hi, Hansi. You don't calm down, Bubba. You're not going downstairs. No, but you need to go downstairs, okay? No. No. Stop whining in the morning. You just do the work and see what comes. You know? I gotta get ready to go, y'all. Okay? I can't be online at this time. This is a very important time of day. A lot of people don't know that this time of day right here, it's important for you to protect yourself from toxicity. Some people, they don't get downloads at this time. They're not having breakthrough. They're not grounded. Their earth energy is toxic. So, protecting your boundaries at this time is important. So I had a little bit of time to have my coffee. Now I'm going to do some meditation and be quiet. Quiet. See, after you run your mouth for a while, you need to have quiet. You need to rest your throat chakra and pamper your throat chakra. And, maybe about 15 minutes and then dive right back into your work. See you later, buddy. Oh, if you want my book, you want my books, they'll be up. Okay? It was too soon to put them out. It wasn't really time. I thought it was, but I realized it's not. I want to reveal in my book too how to know when it's time to do certain things in your destiny. I'm going to reveal that to y'all, but not to book 2. Book 1 for finding your life purpose. It should be on Amazon very soon. It has to be on Amazon before February. It has to be, since February is Pisces season, and me being a poet and a literary writer, I have to put a lot of my energy into my literary next month in my second book. So I have to have this done before I have to have this book up. So I'm currently uploading it right now. I did want to go back and just clean it up a little bit more. I felt like I wasn't happy with the format, and I felt like I was just rushing. I feel like when I rush that I'm more in the scripture of 8 than 9. The Empress, she takes her time. She takes all the time she needs. So if you start rushing and thinking, oh, I gotta get this, there's no such thing as being late for your destiny. Even if you put it up and people aren't looking for it at that time, the cycle won't come right back around. Okay? So take your time to respect your body and respect the energy in your life. Take all the time that you need. If you're a woman, you take all the time. If you're an empress, take all the time that you need. Bye, everybody. See y'all later.